Call to order the Town of Atikokan Council meeting, the 58th meeting of the 40th Council, January 13th, 2025. First order of business is a moment of reflection. Okay, moving on. Agendas and approval of the agenda. Have a resolution. Moved by Councillor Johnson, seconded by Councillor Stimson. Resolved that the agenda for the 58th meeting of the 40th Council be approved as presented. In favor? Opposed? Carried. Number 4 is disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. It can be declared now or any time during the meeting. And it is, you declare your interest and why it's pecuniary interest. So you have to state why it's of a general nature thereof. Next is minutes from the previous meeting, Committee of the Whole meeting minutes, November 25th. Moved by Councillor Stimson, seconded by Councillor Johnson. Resolved that the minutes of the Committee of the Whole meeting held November 25th, 2024 be received and filed. In favor? Carried. Next is the meeting minutes from November 25th. Moved by Councillor Johnson, seconded by Councillor Stimson. Resolved that the minutes of the 54th meeting of the 40th Council held November 25, 2024 be adopted as written. In favor? Carried. Next is C, in-camera minutes. Moved by Councillor Stimson, seconded by Councillor Johnson. Resolved that the minutes of the in-camera meeting held November 25th, 2024 be adopted as written. In favor? Carried. Next is number D, special meeting minutes. Moved by Councillor Johnson, seconded by Councillor Stimson. Resolved that the minutes of the 55th meeting of the 40th Council held November 28th, 2024 be adopted as written. In favor? Carried. Next is an in-camera meeting minutes. Moved by Councillor Stimson, seconded by Councillor Johnson. Resolved that the minutes of the in-camera meeting held November 28th, 2024 be adopted as written. In favor? Carried. Next is the meeting minutes of the 56th meeting. Moved by Councillor Shine, seconded by Councillor Johnson. Resolved that the minutes of the 56th meeting of the 40th Council held December 10th, 2024 be adopted as written. In favor? Carried. Next is moved by Councillor Stimson, seconded by Councillor Shine. Resolved that the minutes of the 57th meeting of the 40th Council held December 19th, 2024 be adopted as written. In favor? Carried. Is there any matters arising out of these minutes anyone would like to discuss? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to Administration and Employee Relations, bylaw number 0-25. First one of the year. Moved by Councillor Shine, seconded by Councillor Stimson. Resolve that bylaw number 1, 2025, being a bylaw to appoint lottery licensing officers, be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed. In favor? It's carried. And second is bylaw number 02-25, moved by Councillor Stimson, seconded by Councillor Shine. Resolve that bylaw number 02-25, being a bylaw to appoint a deputy clerk, be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed. In favor? Carried. Next is number 8, Atikokan Police Services Board, meeting minutes from November 28th. And I'll turn that to Councillor Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. You've had the minutes presented to you in front of you. I hope you had a chance to read them. If there's any questions, I'll attempt to answer them. But that was a long time ago.
Seeing no questions, there was a discussion on the police costing. We had a discussion on that. It was presented at that meeting, but the next day or two, the provincial government came forward with a discount on that, so that's well received, and had a discussion with Inspector Givens on that topic, yes, on Saturday as well. So it was reduced. The provincial government stepped in and reduced it by $139,000. So that was our policing costs did go up slightly for 2025, but nowhere near the amount that was originally presented. Okay, next we'll go to the Atikokan Public Library meeting minutes from November 18th, and I'll turn that over to Councillor Stimson.
Before we go, I think Treasurer Randy and I had a question about the Police Service Board.
I just had a comment. I have a report to council coming with the revised OPP costs. I was actually going to bring it tonight, but there is a webinar about all of the changes, so I thought I might as well take advantage of getting that information before I bring it to council. So it will probably be at the next committee of the whole meeting. It'll show the changes and the differences.
Thank you, Brandy. Yeah, there was, well, there's the information in there why it was such an increase. So the province stepped in this year. Don't know what it's going to look like next year, but it did give us some reprieve on a big increase. There's been other municipalities that are in a lot worse shape than ours on that, so they're getting some relief, but I don't know if they're getting as much as they would appreciate. Yes, Councillor Stimson.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Mayor Brown, holy cow. I'm just looking at the CMHA. They're not going to hire a full-time mental health worker for Atikokan anymore?
That was what was reported by the inspector. Yes, they have a full-time person in Fort Francis that is going to be here 2 or 3 days a week.
So if we have any mental health issues, there's going to be nobody here on certain days to help them out.
That's what I understand, yes.
And they're only going to be one person for both places?
Or the district, is what I understood.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we'll go to the public library. Councillor Stimson.
All right, as soon as I pull up the minutes here.
I apologize if I jumped ahead without people giving time to
That's all
ask
right.
questions on that.
All right, we had a meeting on, what day was it here? Oh, November 18th. It's my first kick at this board, and I was kind of impressed. We've hired Audra Penner to start as a casual library assistant beginning November 24th. Some of the subsidy is going to be paid by Employment Center. And I'll go to the librarian's report, which I think is kind of important. The Mum and Me has been successful with varying numbers from 8 to 24 each week. The online book club is continuing to meet monthly, with 1 month being an evening and one being daytime meeting. We're looking into books in a bag to expand beyond online reads. The Fall Family Festival had 238 participants, which is quite a lot. We will try and plan future festivals on PD days. And calendar appointments started at the end of October and will be accepted until December 7th to ensure we have all calendars completed by the closure December 21st. Pioneer Center programming has resumed and will continue until December 4th. These are old dates, but it's still just to show you just the library is more than just books. Ontario Public Library Week author visits are well attended. John Pringle and Brenda Fisk had 16 in attendance, and Joan Barrell had 10. The book sale was not as successful as planned. In the future, we're going to try and make mystery bags at reduced prices. The winner of the Ontario Public Library Week scavenger hunt was Hazel Spellman. The Youth Services Librarian made visits to St. Pat's School for Halloween. Halloween Teen Movie Night had 14 attendants. The CEO was invited to and will be attending the Louis Riel luncheon put on by the Métis Council. The library has partnered with the Métis Nation of Ontario to celebrate Louis Riel with a tourtière, I guess, dinner, and make and take component, and we'll be hosting this at the Pioneer Center. The CEO will also be attending the Town of Atikokan strategic planning meeting on November 28th, December 10th. Billy Costello received 15 years of service achievement with the library, which is something that is pretty good to have a volunteer last for 15 years. The library has also applied for Ontario Parks passes till end for 2025. This is a free program through the Ontario Parks. If there's anything that our librarian would like to add to that? Go direct them to the librarian. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And we have bylaw number 0-25, appoint library board. Moved by Councillor Shine, seconded by Councillor Stimpson. Resolve that bylaw number 03-25, being a bylaw to appoint a library board to be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed. Clerk Bates, can you give us some information on that? Thank you. The bylaw is, whereas deemed to expedite to appoint certain persons and members of the Atikokan Public Library Board pursuant to bylaw number 567, as amended by the bylaw number 27-97 and bylaw number 42-98. Be it resolved that, now therefore the Council of the Township of Atikokan enacts the following, that the following persons be the same hereby appointed members of the Atikokan Public Library Board. Council representatives Brian Stimpson, members at large Mary Makarenko, Pam DeGagne, Shauna Sekulich, Laura Garnett, Heather Niskanen, and Christine Spilchuk. And that resolved that the representatives hereby appointed shall hold office until November 2026 or until their respective successors have been appointed. That bylaw number 43-23 is hereby repealed. And it's read a first, second, and third time and finally passed. Any other discussion? In favor? Carried. We appreciate people stepping up and serving on that board, doing a lot of great work, so thank you very much. Next, we'll move to mayor's correspondence from the Government of Ontario, and that discusses the reduction in policing services. So there's a little more information on that, and gives us our information on the reduction for Atikokan. And as Brandy said, she will have more information at our next meeting. The reason for the increase was, it was frozen at 1%, as we all know that the province put a freeze on salaries of 1%. It was ruled in court that they were able to negotiate salary increases. There's a big portion of it was retroactive pay, so we'll have to see what that looks like in the future. Any questions on that? Okay, hearing none. Last resolution, moved by Councillor Stimson, seconded by Councillor Shine. Resolved that this meeting do now adjourn. In favor?